Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you all 3 gift ideas that you can make for Valentine's Day. Now I've always been the type of person that really likes Valentine's Day because it's a day where you can show your love for people, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic love, but it can also be a love for family, siblings, and friends. And for the first gift idea, these are the materials that I'm going to be using. So getting started right away, first I'm going to be using this clear plastic mason jar. You can really use any type of a jar you have, whether it's glass or plastic. And I'm using these fake flowers and just cutting off the tops and some leaves and hot gluing them onto the top of the mason jar lid. And then once I have the roses glued in place, I'm gluing in some of the leaves in some of the open spaces to add a difference in color. And then I'm going to be getting out the chocolates and cutting out some pieces of paper. And I'm using regular scissors and decorative scissors to cut out a nice pattern with the paper, and just creating long strips of paper where I'm going to be writing in little notes. And so the idea for this gift is to basically decorate a little bottle or a little jar and fill it with the favorite candy of the person that you're thinking to give this to. And then cutting out little strips of paper and writing little notes to that person. And then just mixing it into the mason jar with the candy and other decorative items you want to add inside the mason jar. And this gift doesn't really have to be a Valentine's Day gift. You can really make it for any occasion and just decorate it with whatever you have or whatever you want to use to decorate it for the occasion. I've made similar gifts like this for baby showers and birthdays. And then for one last finishing touch, I'm tying a ribbon around the mason jar. And then I'm adding a little bit of Mod Podge to the ends of the ribbons just to make sure that they don't fray in the long term. And with that, this Valentine's Day gift is done and ready. Although it's pretty simple to make, it's also really cheap to make, but it's a nice gift idea that the person that you're giving it to can keep as decoration even once all of the candy has been eaten. Now moving on to the second gift idea, the main item that I'm going to be using is felt. But you can honestly use any type of fabric that you have or any material that you have. And I'm going to be cutting out some heart shapes, but you can also cut out any shape you want. And I'm just going to be using this felt and these heart shapes to be making heart plushies. And so for this gift idea, if you're not the type of person that likes to sew, you can use hot glue and just glue around the heart shapes, just leaving a little space. to fold over and fold inside out the material when you go to stuff it, or you can also sew it by hand if you prefer. Sewing it will be better for long-term use compared to using glue. But I'm actually going to be using the sewing machine that I have. I'm not an expert at sewing with the machine or by hand, but I do know the basics, and I really like to sew with the machine. It's a lot faster than by doing it by hand, and it will create a stronger and more long-lasting bond than hot glue would. And so I just sewed along all of the edges of the two pieces of felt, leaving a hole in the last piece of the felt so I can turn it inside out and stuff it from there. Although this gift idea does take a little bit longer than the first one, this one also has a lot more ways to customize it with the shape and the colors and the fabric material you use to do it. I personally really like the idea of giving handmade gifts to people because I find them to be a lot more personal than just regular store-bought gifts. But anyhow, now that I finished sewing up all the 5 plushies that I decided to make, I'm stuffing them with regular stuffing, but you can really just use anything you have. If you can use like old fabrics or old clothes, or if you do have stuffing, you can just use stuffing. And so once you finish stuffing your stuffed animals or stuffed plushies or whatever you decided to make, you just close up the little hole that was left with the same method that you used to create the plushie in the first place. I'm closing it up by hand sewing it. And it's important to note that the hole that you leave when sewing it before it's stuffed will depend on how easy it is to turn inside out. If you leave a small hole, it will be harder to turn inside out, but it will be easier to close up when you're done. Whereas if you had a bigger hole, it will make it easier to turn inside out, but it would take longer to close. So you really just have to pick your battles and choose which of the two issues you would rather do. And so once the plushies were done, you can stop there, but if you want to go above and beyond, pull out your fabric paints and paint on some designs or some cute faces on them, or write a cute message for the person that you're going to be giving the plushies to. And that's really what I decided to do. For the smaller plushie that I made, I went with just a little cute message. But for the rest of them, I decided to draw little cute faces on the top of them. And I do recommend fabric paint because if you want them to be actual plushies, you want to make sure that the paint will stretch, and acrylic paint doesn't really have enough stretch for plushies. But if the plushies are just going to be used as decoration, then you can use acrylic paint. So after a few last finishing touches, and after waiting for all the plushies to completely dry, these are how the 5 plushies came out. This is a really cute gift idea that you can make, and you can really make a lot of them at once. It does take a lot longer than the first gift idea, especially if you're making multiple of them, but it is a lot more personal since it does take a lot more time. And there's a lot more customizing abilities with the fabric type and color and what you design on it with the different faces or the different messages. I went for really simple and basic designs for my plushies, but you can go a lot more detailed and do a lot more intricate designs. But moving on to the last gift idea, this one is probably the most complicated of the three. So for this one, you really just need any journal, notebook, planner, sketchbook, and it can be a completely new one or an used one that you have. I'm going to be using this old notebook that I have. I tore out all the pages that were already in there and just kept the blank pages. And I'm using gesso over all the outer and inner covers to create a good base coat to paint on. And so this gift idea is really good for anyone that's creative, or someone who likes to draw, or someone who likes to write. And so you can customize a notebook or a sketchbook for them so that they can fill out, or in my case, I'm actually painting my own notebook to fill out my own notes, which is also a good gift idea, where you create a whole notebook where you fill with pictures or drawings or even notes or love notes to someone, and then you give it to them as a full journal written with things that you think about them or songs that remind you of that person. Honestly, this gift idea is kind of endless. You can have it be more open-ended, where you just customize it and let the person fill it in, or you all can fill it in together, or you can completely fill it in for them. For my journal, I did a basic rainbow on the outer part, and I'm using fabric puffy paint to decorate the inside covers, with the front being just a bunch of colorful hearts. And I am using matte Mod Podge over all of the covers on the inside and outside to protect them and to ensure that they don't stick to any of the pages. And as you can see, the inner parts where I tore out the pages was very unsightly, and so to try to remedy that, and for the back part of the spine, which will be prone to cracking with the acrylic paint since it doesn't have stretch, I'm just hot gluing a ribbon in those spots. But I will warn you, if you do it like I did, it will stiffen and make it really hard to close, and it doesn't really close right afterwards. But I'm sure if you're a lot more careful than I was, you could probably fix that. I'm not going to be taking the time to fill out this journal here on this video, especially since that's something that's a lot more personal that you should do on your own time. But this is how my finished journal came out. And this doesn't really have to be a gift idea just for Valentine's Day. You could do this for any other day, or any other birthday or holiday. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope it inspired you all to come up with your own gift ideas, or to use these gift ideas for your own gifts for Valentine's Day. I hope you all enjoyed this video and enjoyed everything I made in this video. Again, thank you all so much for watching, and God bless you.